What up, what up, what up?
What up? We hot, baby. We on.
We are back in the building. Pastor Jeff is up in the place. Welcome to Religiously Incorrect.
You already know we had Big Mike last week, right?
Yeah, Coach Mike.
Coach Mike
and Big Mike.
Coach Mike and
surrounded by Mikes.
like Mike. I talked about it in the sermon.
Is that right?
I could be like Mike.
Sure, you better be like Jesus. That's what old Black Mama says. Black Mama says you better be like Jesus. Trying to be like Mike.
Hey, happy Sunday, y'all. Welcome to Sunday night service.
Welcome.
We are brought to you today by the African American Community Fund. The African American Community Fund, established in 2020 at the Foundation for Appalachian, Ohio, supports Black-led and Black-serving organizations throughout the 32 counties of Appalachian, Ohio, to elevate the quality of life and address disparities in African American communities. Please call them. Let them know that you heard about them through us, and you can get in touch with them at www.appalachianohio.org. /AACF, or call them at 740-753-1111.
Love it.
Yes, sir. Man. Yes, sir.
So we'll just get the elephant out the room, or the dog out the room.
The dogs need to stay in the room.
The Browns won. The Steelers got smacked.
The dogs need to stay. Who let the dogs out?
Browns won. Steelers got smacked. I think we're going to be all right, but I will not mince words. That was the most horrible half of football that I have ever seen in my lifetime of being a Steelers fan.
Wow.
At one point before the end of the half, before they finally did score, they had 1 yard.
Wow.
1 net yard.
I didn't watch it, man.
It was like 299 yards to 1. And by the way, 49ers look like that squad. It's game 1, but they look like that squad.
They really do.
They do.
They really do. I was embarrassed to be a Steeler fan today. I ain't even gonna lie. It was bad.
Yeah. I'm not about to be nobody else, but I was embarrassed.
And all the trash I was talking leading up to it. Oh well.
Yeah. It is what it is. I mean, we're gonna take our lumps, man. I at least will take our lumps, honestly. And here's what I do. When we losing, I be real quiet. And when we win, I got a whole lot to say.
Well, you see what I put on for I said the season is only 1 day old, so you
never know.
Yeah,
but y'all look good. Y'all look good. Doing what you do. What's up, Pastor Kid? Sister KK, happy Sunday. Welcome to Sunday night service.
Happy Rosetta Carter.
Elder Carter and Sarah. God bless you. So good to have you. Be sure to like and share.
Yes.
But speaking of football, Pastor Jeff.
2 words.
Prime time. I mean, my man.
God,
my man. It has been, and by the way, it's been an overall good weekend between Coco Golf, and Prime Time. We're back into one of those Black Pride moments where
just excited, man.
He is everybody's uncle and she is everybody's niece, and we just happy for them. Every college football fan, especially the black ones. Let's be honest.
We are watching.
They are also Colorado fans this year. I am a Buckeyes and a Buffaloes fan this year.
I halfway want to buy a shirt.
But, I mean, for us, it's black and gold, so if it's right.
Oh, I'm getting one.
Man, I'm going to get one. I remember when I was a kid, when it was Cordell Stewart, it was the other guy, the receiver, or somebody else, Sharif, or it was Raheem.
For Pittsburgh?
No, for Colorado.
Oh, for Colorado. Okay.
I mean, they were like airing it out back in the day. And I mean, that's the last time I even paid an inkling of attention. Well,
did they win 1 game? I think they won 1 game.
They were 1-11 last year.
1-11.
They've already doubled their, and they beat quality opponents.
Teams. Yes.
TCU and Nebraska. I know they say TCU came down because they lost people, but they went to the national championship last year. You can't deny that. They lost the national champ. They lost, went to the national championship. And Nebraska has been on an upswing, actually, with a new coach.
Right.
Finally getting their feet under them a little bit. Barely lost to Minnesota, the other week. But they're not a crap team.
But, we could have said the first game was a fluke.
Right.
But this dude is throwing a ball, and, I mean, he's looking more and more like his mentor, Tom Brady, by the day.
And God bless Primetime for being able to afford Tom Brady as a quarterback's coach for his son. I mean, I love how they rolled that out smoothly after the second game. Like, oh, yeah, by the way, he's been working with Tom Brady.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to work with somebody, though.
You might as well.
You know what I mean?
Might as well. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I wish the very best. They're going to take some L's.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to go undefeated. They're going to take 2 or 3 L's at least. But you cannot deny the turnaround and the return to respectability for that Colorado program. The energy he's brought. Now, a lot of people will say the transfer portal has a lot to do with it because he was one of the most aggressive transfer portal coaches in this new era.
I think they said that he brought 50 students with him.
Oh, yeah, 50, 60 students. He's flipped.
I mean, that's phenomenal, though.
But again, I mean, it's not only a matter of the coach being able to do that, but it's also a matter of the student athlete being able to make that choice.
Absolutely.
To do that. NIL plays a part as well with the name, image, likeness thing with money, but really it's about the choice to get out of circumstances that do not fit you well, to get into a program where, if for nothing else, I'm sure all of them are obviously not top 5-star rated whatevers, but the experience of it, being a part of it, and they obviously are going hard for their coach. Now, here's what I'll say. TCU, it felt like they were just blowing them off the ball. Nebraska had a lot in the way of, a tough first quarter and first half. And a lot of people were like, welcome to real football. Welcome to a real point. I got to see them deal with the frustration of adversity, having to punt, turn the ball over and things like that, and still get themselves together.
Absolutely.
So I give it to Prime, man.
I give it to him.
We're Team Prime this year, man.
I watched him on the sidelines. I mean, Deion's like, get off the field. Let's go. He's coaching. Right. He's coaching for real. So I love it.
He is. Oh, he's a coach. And Matt Rule, the Nebraska's football coach, made a comment when they asked, like, are you surprised by his success? And it was, and he was like, no. Deion Sanders has been a football guy, and he's won at everything he's done since he's been in sports. And he knows the sport.
Yeah, he does.
He's been excelling at it. So you guys might be surprised, but he's like, but I'm not surprised. So I'm grateful that other coaches are starting to give that legitimacy to him. But there are 2 things he had going on that I was impressed with and chuckled at. Number one, they have a turnover throne.
What?
They have a turnover throne.
What is that?
An actual throne, a black with gold trim, like one of them fancy chairs that people rent for their birthdays now. Like an actual throne with peaked, like a super pastor chair on the sideline. And if you get a turnover, you go sit in the turnover throne and you pose in it.
I need to see this.
Yeah, look it up. I wish we had a picture of it. It's a turnover throne. All right? Oh, and I'm like, now, real funny, on my way here, I saw a picture at Akron, being Akron, the Akron Zips, they have a turnover tire. It's an actual real tire, rubber tire, and they put it over their neck. It's a Goodyear tire. I'm not playing. It's a Goodyear tire, and they put it over their neck. And the one guy had 2 turnovers. They had 2 tires around his head.
That's crazy.
It was the funniest thing. He's going to
need a neck brace next week.
Right. He's going to have a turnover rotator cuff. So here's the second thing. So he had the turnover throne, but here's the second thing. He had his pastor on the sideline with him. Primetime did. Pastor E. Dewey Smith, House of Hope in Atlanta.
That's hot.
He had the dude was dressed down to the nine in his gear.
Singing old school songs.
Right, he's in there singing Pass Me Not, squalling and stuff.
E. Dewey is the man. I love E. Dewey.
But the whole crew was out there to support him, man. And you couldn't ask for better. And so before we get off of this, here's the thing that still rankles people. The man's confidence. You might even call it cockiness. I call it confidence. Mm-hmm. And it is because America, white and black, is still somewhat uncomfortable with the image of a confident black figure that says what they feel, says what they mean. I mean, from him saying, we coming, I told you we coming. Mm-hmm. He's talking back to reporters that doubted him. Right. He's doing that. And I know for a fact that rankles some people. And Jeff, I just want to know your take on that, because we all know prime time is prime time.
Times. I mean, but it's for me, it's warranted. I have a problem with people who brag and who are arrogant and have no right to be.
Have no right to be.
You ain't done nothing. You know what I mean? You ain't made no highlights. You ain't done nothing. You still bragging. This dude, like you said, has played baseball, football, probably can play basketball.
One time in the same day.
Right.
He played, right. He literally flew to another game.
Offense, defense. Right. You know, he went down to, where did he coach at last year?
Jackson State.
Won there.
He was like at a prep academy before that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then came here. And so he has a right to say and do. And I mean, I don't think I think it's justified. Let the dude just be him. And I love it. I've always been a type cat who I like cocky, arrogant people myself.
Right.
The Kobe Bryants.
That's why he's friends with me, y'all. That's why Pastor Jeff is my only friend. I appreciate you, bro. You never left me. But no, I mean, just confidence. And let's just be clear, man. Confidence is an uncomfortable state for most people, Christians, African Americans. We just have like an uncomfortable relationship with outspokenness and confidence, unless it seems to fit into like a certain little kind of bubble, or you're dead.
Right.
Or you die. That's basically how that works.
They want you to be humble.
They want you humble. Humble.
You gotta lead H off.
Humbly. And that's how you know you're really humble, when you're humble.
Hey, Mike, what you gonna say?
Nobody wants you to be humble.
I always had the philosophy. I mean, as long as you backing it up, you can talk all the trash you want.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And when you start losing, you're going to stop talking.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And Mike Tyson stopped talking after Holyfield beat him up twice. You don't hear him talk no more. But before that, I'm the greatest in the world.
I need to interrupt this. I need to interrupt this broadcast for station identification, because I want to shout out my friend, Elder Terrence T.J. Dooley. Because my man, the other night, had one of his songs recorded by the one and only Ricky Dillard and New G. And Dooley, I just want to stop my sports talk to give you big, religiously incorrect shout out.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
His latest track was called I Love the Lord. It's a bad track.
Is it on Spotify?
It's already on Spotify.
Oh, I'm going to look it up.
I've been listening to it on repeat.
I'm going to do it right now.
That little scream you do at the end before they modulate up. I've been doing that in my car, Dooley.
Yes,
and then to have Ricky Dillard record that. Now, here's what's going to happen. I'm probably still going to like your version better than his. Just telling you right now. Because your Trust in the Lord track that E. Dewey Smith did, I like your version better. I really do. I like their version better. So I want to shout out TJ. We're going to have to bring you on and talk some sports and church talk. But yeah, we have a dislike and a discomfort with confidence.
What's the name of this?
It's called I Love the Lord by TJ Dooley or Terrence Dooley in Testimony. I Love the Lord. Look it up. It's the old school I Love the Lord. I Love the Lord with a groovy beat, funky beat. And by the way, since I'm talking music, let me just throw this in there real quick. The funky, soulful church sound will never go out of style. I don't care how much CCM modern music. That's it. The old school church groove, put it on the flow, it will never go out of style. If you can put together a good song, it's going to hit wherever you go. So, hey, let me talk about this confidence thing real quick before we jump off of it. Whether it's church, sports, even education, we happen to beat down our own and not only express discomfort with what we're hearing and seeing, but also find ways to try to knock people down to size if they do speak. Like, we almost make it our mission that if you're not humble, we're going to humble you.
We're going to humble you.
We're going to humble you. And it might even mean just pulling support and energy away from you by sort of feeding negativity and doubt and giving people and I talked about it in service today, like, I don't know about them. And then you get people like on that team to just sort of think differently about a person because they dare to step out of that humble bubble. Right. And I've said it so many times, black people especially, but church people across the board have such a misconception of what real godly humility is. Right. And it's like, it is not having no confidence in yourself and beating yourself down and being unafraid, and being afraid to speak anything good about yourself.
So let me ask you this. Yeah. Let me ask you this. When you get done preaching and you go down and shake the hands and somebody says to you, "Great word today, Pastor," what do you say?
Like, I know. No. I say, thank you, bless you. I appreciate it. I just say I appreciate it.
You be like, I know, but in your head, you be like, yeah, I know, I killed that.
I mean, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't be killing it. I be like, what did you listen to? What was that? Because it was garbage to me. I was like literally on my last squeal. But anyway, here's what I don't do. I don't be like, oh, to God be the glory. No, I don't do. I just say thank you. Right. Somebody actually taught me that. He was like, man, just say thank you. You do not have to put on this show. God did it. It wasn't me. It was the Spirit of God in me. Like silly, man.
You studied that thing all week.
Bruh, I was up till 2 a.m. You know what I mean? And it's more than just the presentation.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's more than just the fact that you know how to put a sermon together, or preach or sing or whatever it is. It's the posturing, the positioning, the preparation, everything that went into it. The fact that I haven't fallen off the wagon yet. I've disciplined myself. I haven't done the things that have canceled many a talented preacher out of ministry. Absolutely. You know, it's way more than simply saying, I got up and killed it for 30 minutes, or in my case, 45 minutes. But I mean, I think we have to really disconnect ourselves from that toxic belief that it's our job to manage other people's self-confidence. Yeah. Because that's another part, when you talk about mental health and black people and all that kind of stuff, what we don't talk about is the weight and the burden we put on one another to inhabit a certain image and portrayal of all of us, and all of each person has to make all of us feel like we're in this one vein. Right. And if you step outside of that vein, we give this very, very potent, but very passive aggressive burden and weight and energy and vibe that I know what it feels like to feel weighed down. And now I become unsure and uncertain, and I'm not operating in my best gift because I'm worried about what people that I love and trust think about me. Because I watch them trying to change their demeanor, and here he go. Then they say funny stuff to you, and I'm in this world right now. Oh, you're the great Reverend Doctor. Here comes you. And what they're probably really saying is, oh, you think you're all that.
Right.
So I'm going to call you that, joking, but behind the joke.
There's something there. There's hidden racism.
Behind the joke, there's something. Leah said it great. Don't be a black woman to be unapologetically confident. Oh, absolutely. It's double the negativity.
Oh, it is.
It's double the negativity for a black woman in the church. Mm-hmm. Politics, obviously, in professional stations, and for what black men get, black women get it worse.
Absolutely.
You know, and so I just feel like we need to support Prime, and while you're supporting Prime, think about that talented, productive, successful person in your own backyard who probably doesn't say nearly as much as Prime does out loud, but you kind of feel and see their confidence, and you feel way differently about them.
Absolutely.
Than while you're still, celebrating him. So, much love to Prime. I hope he wins a lot. I hope he shocks a few more people, man.
Yeah, shock.
I want to see.
And real quick before we go, I got to give a big shout out to YSU for at least getting $2 million. Man,
listen, YSU.
What was the final?
Y'all at least got $2 million.
Like 35-7. It wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad.
They didn't get beat no worse than the Steelers did. They actually did better than the Steelers did. At least they got on the board in the first quarter.
Well.
Hey, y'all know what time it is. Did I say that right? Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Meme of the Week.
It's Meme of the Week. Meme of the Week.
Welcome to Religiously Incorrect, ladies and gentlemen.
It's Meme of the Week. Meme of the Week.
Thank you. Send us your memes of the week.
These are all jokes. We are just playing.
So Pastor Jeff and Big Mike have not seen this video. I have brought this meme to the Religiously Incorrect experience. And all I'm going to say is this. Everybody loves a good praise break and a good shout. Uh-huh. And I hope Dooley is still on here, because I actually had a suggestion for Dooley. I really need to set this up. I had a suggestion for Dooley once, because he's got some great praise breaks and shouts on his albums. And I said, you know what would be great? If you had two versions on there, because most people during their praise breaks now, they do a lot of exhorting and encouraging, and they basically talk over the whole track. Right. And I said, you need to do like a challenge where you let other people take the track and do their best exhorting to it. You know what I mean? Like, let them take it. This sister, this preacher, this praiser takes the cake. Take it away, Big Mike.
Ha, 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 ha. Hey, glory, glory, glory. Some of y'all trying to play God like he a side hoe. Some of y'all trying to play God like he a side hoe. Don't do that. He gonna wear you out playing with it. He not no side piece. God ain't no side piece. He ain't no side piece. God ain't no side piece. Stop letting people put you as a side piece.
I'm sorry. That woman been hurt. She has been a side piece.
She has some inner issues.
She has been a side piece. And
she was testifying.
She was testifying and singing at the same time.
Marlon said, we definitely don't want to trick God. This is going too far. I don't care what analogy.
I'm sorry, Mike, run that back because I need to see, because all I can do is watch her. I need to see the rest.
Split screen it this time for us. Who said I'm done? Who said OMG I'm done? Pastor Kid said he's confessing. All right, we're gonna split screen it. We'll just give our commentary over this.
Hey, glory.
It seems normal at first.
Some of y'all trying to play God like he a side hoe. Some of y'all trying to play God like he a side hoe.
This is real, Mariah.
Don't do that. He gonna wear you out playing with it.
Who is this down in the front and what is he doing?
No
red pants, got me.
Red pants, yeah.
God ain't no side piece. He ain't no side piece. God ain't no side piece. Stop letting people put you as a side piece.
Okay. All right. Listen. I have questions. First of all, red pants. Let's talk.
Is that a hat on?
Yeah, he has a hat on. I think he has a hat on. There's red pants and red suit. And if you watch the video close enough, I think it's on like Church Funny or something. I don't know. There might be something to speak of there. Red. Maybe they're coordinating. I don't know. But I have questions. At what point did this praise break out? Did she preach? Okay, everybody has preached that Hosea text about the basically prostitute and but come on, man, side hoe.
I mean, and you just used
God is going to wear you out. Sounds like somebody already been worn out. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like somebody that's already been worn out.
I don't even know what to say about this.
God ain't no side piece. That's going to become a song. It should be.
I mean, so what's...
We both...
Mike is speechless. What?
Why? Why? I don't understand where this came from, what she was thinking, what...
I don't know, man. I mean, we've all made about, we might say... We the furthest we might go is God ain't no one night stand or something like that, or you don't be a part-time lover or something. Why are we here?
I am trying to theologically. I'm trying to theologically exegete this entire thing and figure out where she was coming from and why. I mean, to make it make sense. Make it make sense.
I bet you there's somebody in the comments on that Facebook page, like on the clip page, and there's always a defender now, like a loyal member of the church who's like, you got to watch the whole clip, and if you knew where she was coming from, like, no. I don't care if I've said my share of risky things, but first of all, you grow out of it. But this is where keeping it real in church is goes wrong. A theological mess. In fact, Reverend Minister Brown said I'm not allowed to wear red pants or suits in the pulpit. That's another story. I need to hear that story.
That was from Hearns.
Right. No, because now Hearns got some red joints. While you're talking, wait, who scroll up a little bit. I saw a comment I wanted to. That puts the devil in the phone booth, ladies, in the second place. Y'all forgot about the devils in the phone booth dialing 911? Yeah, I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. And, me and my wife are having this conversation. The pandemic is over, and a whole lot of y'all need to come offline.
Amen.
A whole lot of people for various reasons, and this is one of them. If your ministry is to somebody, it ain't to everybody. If whoever it is you're reaching with that, it don't need to be everybody.
And who had the nerve to video record this?
Oh, somebody saw it and thought it was. I mean, come on. How does everything get on? How does anything get on? That's what every pastor now lives in fear of.
Oh my God!
That something's going to happen in your church. It's going to become a YouTube moment.
A YouTube meme.
Yes, it's going to be a church meme. So, if you're trying to get your praise on, your little step on, your little dance on, to all my pastors and evangelists and exhorters, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And screaming God ain't your side piece is the wrong way.
Yeah, that ain't it, Doc.
Use the text.
That ain't it.
The text.
And there's a lot of ways to make that point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways. And the fact that she put some churchiness on it.
God ain't gonna come in second best,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to make that point, and the way she put the whole hold on it. I mean, it is what it is. But moving on, our show is brought to you as always by Phillips Care family of businesses, Phillips Lawn Care Services. I already see the leaves falling off my trees, and I don't feel like doing them. I'm probably gonna call Phillips and let them take care of it, and they can take care of it too. They've been in the business for over a decade, and if you live anywhere in the Tri-County area, you're already familiar with them. And by the way, they are hiring. So check out Phillips Care LLC on Facebook or call 330-219-7916. And while you're at it, if you're trying to get your home right for the holidays, they'll be here before you know it. Get your carpets clean. Maybe you need some things moved in or moved out of a new home or business. Perhaps you need some light industrial or repair work or renovation work done to your building. Give them a call. 330-219-7916. Don't waste your time. Let them do it. Phillips Care LLC, a proud sponsor of Religiously Incorrect Podcast.
And we are also brought to you by Action, the Alliance for Congregational Transformation, influencing our neighborhoods. Action is a faith-based grassroots organization in Mahoning and Trumbull County. Listen, we are excited to announce, even here tonight, that we will be having a political forum up here in Warren, Ohio at the
Trumbull Community Action Program? Is that
TCAP, yes.
TCAP?
At TCAP on October 19th. We have a couple races. We have two councilman races, 6th Ward and 4th Ward, and we also have several school board positions.
Correct.
So please get involved with your community. Come out and see what's going on.
Can't wait for those forums and debates because the people deserve to hear, what people's positions are, their demeanor, their resumes, and their qualifications. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm big on the politics.
Absolutely. Debate me. That's what debate me.
Debate me. Cut off all the junk.
That's it. You debate me.
Just debate.
That's all you got to do.
Let's hear what you got to say. So, hey, today's show is called The Preacher. I think I called it The Producer, The Promoter, The Preacher.
All right.
Producer, promoter, preacher. And this, Jeff, is the unknown work of a pastor that a lot of people don't know. Mm-hmm. And that is often we are placed in the role of events coordinator.
Yes.
And I don't think people really realize it. And I want to spend the rest of our time talking about that. How whether it is a small scale church event, it could be a revival.
Yes.
Or it could be, a massive, I've done some pretty big concerts or people have done festivals, fairs and all that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of burden on the pastor in that capacity. No, Pastor Patton, Pastor Jeff did not respond to the call to salvation.
I did. On a walk with Pastor Simon. Pastor Simon laid hands on me.
You went on a walk with him?
I've been going for the last.
You've been on the walk?
Yeah, I've been. So
well, apparently he's here. He didn't get baptized in bullets today, and so we're doing okay. But we're talking about the pastor, the promoter, the producer, the promoter, the producer, the preacher, because that's an unspoken stress, and honestly, it's an essential skill and an endeavor that every leader of a church has to at some point take on. Now, some of us in ministry have committees or people that take the reins. But it feels like no matter who you have doing what, there's always something that falls back on the pastor, even if it just means they're coming back to you, asking you questions about what you like. Do you agree with this? Are you okay with this? That kind of stuff.
And let's be honest, whether it goes off good or goes off bad, it ain't on that organization. It ain't on that committee
or ministry. It's back on the pastor.
It's back on the pastor.
Pass it and put this old whack musical together with all these mimes.
Ain't nobody that showed up.
Right. Ain't nobody here. We ain't raised $25 at the bake sale.
Oh, and we get to that because the money that comes out of these things.
Oh yeah. That people just don't realize what goes into it and what comes out of it. So I want to kind of talk with the basics. Let's start with the basic church annual days. Think of things like church anniversaries,
Mother's Day
services, or whatever special presentations you do around the holidays. Think about revivals. Yeah. You know, having a guest speaker on a special day, or God help us, an afternoon service or weekday revival nights. Let's just talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely.
Okay, because here is the big anxiety that I don't think a lot of people understand all preachers have. And that is the delicate dance of inviting someone to preach at your church. Mm-hmm. So whenever you see a speaker, especially if it is not the best friend or associate of your pastor, which you probably know who they are. Everybody knows that me and Pastor Jeff are very, very close. Probably one or two other people that I'm always speaking highly of. You know that if that person or these persons are the guests, that was just a quick phone call, a text. Right. We literally just eating wings. I'm like, yo, doc, I got the anniversary coming up. You want me to preach?
Right.
But when it's anybody outside of that circle, there's anxiety involved. If it's somebody you've never invited before, there's unfamiliarity.
Right.
Sometimes you don't even know the best way to connect with them. And it's not like, I'm not talking about T.D. Jakes. I'm not talking about Joel Osteen. It can just be somebody you've always liked, you've said hi to a couple of times.
Sylvester Patton,
right? Youngstown's own. That delicate dance of just making the first
initial phone call. That's it. Trying to figure out, because whether y'all know it or not, most of our anniversaries ain't on the same day every year.
Right.
We have to shift it a little bit.
We have to move it around.
To fit somebody else's schedule.
Somebody's schedule. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And to fit other schedules like holidays, or people have other endeavors and they forgot our anniversary was coming. Like I purposely move mine for two reasons. And one of those reasons is not bearing out. I purposely moved mine because first I got invited to another person's anniversary in an afternoon service. Mm-hmm. So it would be weird for me to do my own anniversary and then go preach somebody else's anniversary. Right. But the second reason is I was actually hoping to get invited to another anniversary, and apparently I'm not going to be. And I don't mean like invited away from my church to go preach, but some people I love very much apparently are not inviting me. Wow. So I moved my whole anniversary for no reason. So anyway.
Oh, that's funny.
And here's the other thing. When you call, now here's what people ask all the time, especially outside of the church. If you came and spoke for this or that, what's your fee?
Right.
What's your price? What's your honorarium? So here's the answer to that. There is no fee or honorarium. Nobody is going to tell you, yeah, I need 1,000 to come. I need 500 to come.
Especially nobody from around here.
Nobody from around here. I don't think anybody anywhere really. Now, somebody who's close to them or attached to them might give you what the general expectation is for a prominent person.
Right.
If they genuinely know. But nobody has a price. But that creates a bit. So as great as that sounds, as humble as that sounds,
there is a scale.
There is a scale. There is an unspoken scale. And it's so hard to know. And here's how you know what the scale is. You don't know the scale until you get something. You don't know the scale until you get an offering, and it's either way higher than you expected or way lower.
So let me tell you, if you go preach somewhere and you get 150, you on the bottom of the scale. I'm just letting you know. You are on the bottom.
Jeff is selling secrets today. Unless it's like a miniature church.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a miniature church. But there is no scale. So when you're inviting, when you're the producer of this, you're nervous about insulting that person. Grover said, I know somebody who don't need no scale. This is a no deacon zone. This is a no deacon zone. And by the way, I paid my dues.
Amen.
Any preacher worth their salt, no matter how good they are, or maybe how good they're not, they've paid their dues. We have all went home with a noisy envelope.
Absolutely.
I want y'all to hear me. We have all gone home with a noisy envelope. I'm talking about some jangle. Mm-hmm. Go to get you some nuggets.
27-23 one time. 27. Bruh. I wouldn't play the lottery that day. I said, see if I can make this work.
He said, I'm going to flip this. Mine had to be about $62 or something. And I had taken my praise team with me. And I was in the church van. And I bought them all McDonald's. And I probably went home with like $10. And then my father slapped an envelope on my desk a week later because I got a ticket.
Oh, wow.
So I actually lost $150 on that gig. I actually lost money. I think I'm the first preacher to ever lose money on a preaching engagement. I was like $140 in the hole when I got done. But, I mean, you know, in our area, it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5. You got a couple of guys that are very generous, so they want to be a blessing, but some of our older ones. And sometimes you get invited to other places that can be much higher than that. But nobody has a price. Sometimes the church really does give a love offering. They really do love you. They really do care for you. They want to bless you. And everybody has a budget. But people don't understand, like, I get asked all the time when I'm going to invite somebody to church. My secretary, my treasurer comes in and says, how much are we giving this person?
Right.
And that's odd. Mm-hmm. It can be strange.
And you don't want to feel like you're underpaying somebody or devaluing somebody, especially when they're, you know, of a caliber.
There have been a couple times I wanted my check back. There have been a couple times when I overshot it.
You overshot it?
I overshot it. Wow. And I'm looking at the people. If Grover's still watching, he'll give me that look.
Grover will give you that look.
He'll let me know.
Grover will let you know.
He'll be like, whatever you gave me wasn't worth it, Doc. You could have preached this one. So that's an anxiety. And I mean, all jokes aside, we want to do right by our brothers and sisters in the gospel. And by the way, speaking of black women, there's a natural tendency to devalue black women sometimes. Absolutely. There's a tendency to devalue younger people. Mm-hmm. There's a tendency to devalue people because their ministries are a little smaller, even if their preaching is strong.
Absolutely.
And they're not treated the same. And then there's an artificial scale, which is why when we talked about put some respect on my name with Pastor Pierre, where people take on these titles just so they can be in the $1,000 range, you know, $5,000 range, whatever. That this whack expectation because you wear all these extra garments you got off the internet, even though you ain't really no real bishop. As my friend who will go unnamed would say, you're a wishop. You're not a bishop, you're a wishop. And now you ascribe yourself to that level because you know that automatically comes with an expectation of more if you're invited to preach somewhere.
Absolutely.
So that's an anxiety. But let's go even deeper into the guest speaker thing. You worry about how they'll be received by your congregation.
Absolutely.
Especially if they enjoy your preaching.
Right.
Or they expect good preaching.
And you can almost tell from the first 10 minutes.
This is not going to be.
Yeah, this is not going to be good.
My preacher poker face is terrible. I keep saying it. I wouldn't be mad if we brought masks back to the church because I need one sometimes. I need that joke over my mouth and my face.
Absolutely.
And, I need one over my eyes while I'm at it. But you do worry. And let's be clear here. Not only is it an energy thing, you want the energy of the service, you want you want the people to be blessed. Let's talk spiritual first. You want the people to be blessed, you want them to receive a word, right. But let's just be clear here. We want to do a good job.
Right.
Do it, whatever that means. It doesn't mean walking on pews, hooping and laying people out, but we want them to give a good word to the people. Here's what I don't need. I don't need somebody who comes and misses their assignment and turns whatever service is into something else that it wasn't meant to be.
Right. Absolutely.
I don't need anybody to come to my pastor's anniversary and fuss my people out.
Right. Stop trying to be prophetic and all that stuff. Just
we don't
come.
Need a prayer line.
One of the things Sylvester told me when he called me and had me come up to his church, he said, listen, just grab an old horse and ride it out.
Listen.
It's really that simple. It's really that simple.
Grab and shave 5 minutes off of it.
Right.
If you're a guest. And shave 5 minutes. Yes. Hey, Second Baptist people, I don't be giving everybody else the 50-minute special. I don't be giving everybody that.
They're about to get mad at you.
They're about to get mad at you. I mean, but that's exhortation at the end. That's altar call. That's monitor. That's commentary. When you're the guest speaker, you're supposed to get up, get into the word, say a few, greetings or whatever, establish protocol and get to it.
That's it.
Get to it and sit down. I've had people at conventions go too long. Absolutely. One guy got up at one night, they locked here and bragged about how long he preached. I'm like, yeah. Everybody's like, yeah, Doc, you preaching long, Doc. We've been here all week. We got 5 killer preachers coming. You do not need to keep us here with a Bible study. Like, what are we doing? So we are worried about that. But let's be clear, it's also an investment too, because we don't want to feel bad about what we're giving you. And sometimes we have all, you got now he got you. He got to bless the preacher that uses the word pericope.
That is my takeaway from Michael Harrison. Pastor Harrison.
This passage of pericope. I love it. But you gotta you and I've bombed and felt bad about what they gave me. I'm like, I wasn't worth this. I want to give a bit, but I'm not giving it back. But in my heart,
I don't know about you bombing, Doc.
I bombed.
I think
I can name the places I bombed. I bombed a restoration once.
That's the only time I wouldn't say you bombed. It was just long, but it was
long and bad.
It was bad. It was a dark service.
We were in I was glow in the dark service. Yeah, okay. I don't know what I'm talking about, but what do you call it, aliens and stuff? Your daughter was in on that. That was your daughter, by the way. Your daughter did that. Do not invite any serious preachers to glow in the dark services. And I absolutely love my brothers. I do. And I was a youth minister. I mean, it was a youth service. I'm the young guy, so I get it. I wasn't quite like no pastor Baptist at the time, but come on. Glow in the dark will throw you off. Okay?
Everybody, kids were scared. They would scream. Hey.
Is this a rave?
Hey, Tom preached for an hour and 45 minutes.
Man, it was a minute. I mean, I went. I didn't know where I was at. My wife and I was fighting. My kids was bad. London was screaming the whole time. It was just terrible by the time I got up.
Hey, I was your armor bearer. I was like, yeah, man, you done good. Come on, man, let's go.
Lying Negro. Lying Negro. So we care. We really do care. Let's take that a step further. Now we're doing revivals. What's up, Jaleesa? Good to see you. Then you have revival services. Here's something I said. I've been out of church on Sunday mornings a lot. You know why? Because nobody has Sunday night services or afternoon services or weeknight services. You know why? Because nobody comes to them.
Right.
Nobody comes to them. I mean, I'm not saying nobody is successful at them, but for the most part, the days, and I'm going to try one. And you have to bring the right kind of person. You have to bring a person. Here's the sucky thing. You have to bring a certain kind of draw that might extend beyond your church.
Right.
Because people are not plugged into gospel music as the same way they were, and they are not plugged into gospel preachers at all. Mm-hmm. You ask the average churchgoer, who's your favorite preacher? All they know is Joel Osteen, T.D. Jakes, maybe Pastor Mike Jr. now, whoever's got a couple clips online. But there are so many wonderful speakers and preachers and anointed preachers. And because they're not in that vein, because they're not putting up reels and TikToks and they don't have that production to really make them giving their best 60 seconds or whatever. We're not paying attention to who can really give full-on sermons. Oh my God. Just the same way Napster and Spotify and Apple killed the album.
Right.
Where nobody listens to whole albums anymore, is the same way clips and TikToks have killed the sermon. Who can give a full sermon doesn't matter anymore. It's who can give a clip.
A nugget.
And most of us are not inviting somebody off a clip.
Right.
We're not. But people don't go to Sunday or weeknight evening services like they used to. I got one this year, and it's going to be a struggle. I got one. We're in a couple weeks. A week after the anniversary, we're going to Canton, 4 o'clock service. I think it's a 3 o'clock service in Canton. I don't know how I did that. But it is what it is.
I'm away next week, but it's in the morning. It's in the morning, so.
It's a struggle. So we care about that. But that's only one kind of special event. Let's go a little higher. You want to have a concert, a musical. Brother, I'm thinking about bringing Reginald Sharp. I'm thinking about bringing my man. Dude is a killer.
Beast.
He's a killer. And I appreciate Brother Jason actually knowing preachers. He knows a couple of them. We don't know a lot of pastors that actually know, and he's not a pastor, but brothers and sisters in the church that just know preachers and listen to them.
Right.
Thank you. Most of the clips comprise of the whooping, not the context. Yep. And even if it is a clip that's not whooping, it's still out of context.
Right.
It's still out of context. And we're not even sure if the rest of the sermon is even biblical or not. That little clip was just clever.
Right. That's it.
That's what happened.
Clever clip.
The clip is clever, but we have no idea if the sermon is biblical.
Right.
So now we want to do, I don't know, and we already asked this question on this show. What happened to the musical? I think the first answer is there aren't any musical groups. You know.
Spotify, man. I mean, you do your whole concert at home.
That is true.
You can
church choirs, but church choirs ain't church choiring like they used to.
Right.
I think, okay, pastor, producer, promoter. Everybody has had to be the pastor that has to try to regulate the musical to try to keep it in some context of time so that you're not there for, 5 hours.
Right.
Because I think a big part of what killed the musical and the music event that we have to pastor and produce and promote is the praise team and the worship flavor. And you know why? Because when it used to be a choir musical or a soloist musical, you would get up and give your A and B selection and sit down.
Right.
Now that it's a worship musical or worship experience, everybody wants to create an atmosphere all over again.
Right.
As
if the last person's atmosphere.
Correct.
You couldn't stay.
Correct.
You couldn't just flow with that.
And everybody does all this exhortation. Before I sing a song, we're going to set the atmosphere. Dude, we set the atmosphere 9 times.
Right. They got to blow the shofar.
We got to blow the shofar.
They got to blow the shofar.
We're going to run around this church 7 times with a flag.
You got to have flags. You bought busted mother such and such in the head.
You got incense and smoke coming through the church. And you do all that. And so that is sort of killed. So now we're at the place to where it's really hard to have a quality musical event unless you get a prominent national recording artist.
Right.
And now you're in another stage of struggle because they are not cheap.
Absolutely. But
And
even with
there it is, dealing with writers. Here's what I'm going to need to come to your church. And they say it, and again, they're just like pastors. They don't often just give you a flat number. They'll say, in order to make this experience a quality one, we usually work around the range of XYZ amount, and we will need these accruements provided to us,
So let's just talk about it for a second, because I don't think a lot of these people know.
Yeah, put that up. I need them old school St. James. That's it. Them old school choir after choir after choir. You got a soloist in there. Elder Melvin get up and take up an offering. He do a little made up song with Eddie that he just made up on the spot. And then you all go to Perkins.
Right.
And then you all go to Perkins.
But let's talk, because I think a lot of these people, a lot of our viewers don't understand. And I've watched you struggle to bring some of the best talent that we could afford around here. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes the crowd is not indicative of what you brought. And so let's just let her. So let's say Marvin Sapp, right? Mm-hmm. You brought him. What did he cost?
We don't put costs out there like that.
What did he cost, man?
The show cost us, the entire event cost us nearly $15,000.
$15,000 that he brought somebody to Warren, Ohio. And, you know, as much as we say we want something going on.
TJ Dooley just wrote a song for Ricky Dillard. When he came to Second Baptist, church was basically empty. And I was embarrassed. Red Hands came to the AMP. AMP was basically empty. Okay, it wasn't great. These cats are out here doing stuff with Kim Burrell. They just had Ty Tripp. I mean, these cats are doing big things everywhere else. And my guys who do music that have been on the show, CJ, who is a part of the crew, you know, our musician, Carrington, they know that the vibes aren't like that here. But you all need to know, real money. And by the way, we're not writing $15,000 checks at Second Baptist.
Right.
We do the leg work, which is a whole other part of getting sponsors, supporters. And by the way, they depend on you providing the numbers because these people did not, some do it out of just goodwill. They got money to spend on the black community and they want to drop 1,000, you know, over here or whatever. And God bless all y'all that keep calling the sponsors that sponsor us so they can sponsor your stuff. You could have just asked me. God bless them. Let me throw that out there real quick. God bless y'all that come take my souvenir book so you can call everybody in the book and ask for some money. I love it. You think they don't call me? You think they don't call me and let me know? Cynthia Hill said that some of these people can't sing. They just want to stay on stage too long. You ain't wrong.
Truth.
But it costs money. And it's well worth it to me because I see it as a ministry of experience and exposure for our people. It gave me so much joy to put our youth choir on stage with Israel Houghton, Fred Hammond, Ty Tribbett.
That was phenomenal.
They did James Fortune. They did Diedrich Haddon. They opened for Vashawn Mitchell. Those group of young people that came out of Little Warren, Ohio. We did all that.
Done all that.
Brother, we did all that.
Phenomenal.
We did. Diedrich Haddon my first 4 months. December of my first year, and I came in September at Second, we had Diedrich Haddon in our church. Unheard of.
Now he's doing the butt with his wife.
Now this cat is out here doing the butt. He's out here bumping and grinding with his wife on TikTok.
Didn't start doing it until after he left.
Didn't start doing it until he came to Second. We put something on him. I don't know what we did. But everyone, and by the way, some of those were Too Deep Productions. Mm-hmm. They were not all Second productions. They weren't Todd Johnson productions. But even to facilitate it takes so much work. It really does. So much preparation.
But I've been to Powers where Kirk Franklin was, and it was not a packed crowd. Now, I don't know what it's like to, you know, see these. I think oftentimes we feel, okay, or the crowd feels, well, you got your money, you made your money. But sometimes it's not about the money that you make. It's the fact that we put our heart and effort into bringing these people here and nobody showed up.
Right.
Even if you bought the ticket.
Right. Yeah, even if you bought or in many cases now, I've been doing free concerts the last couple of years. And God has blessed us to do that. And it's still not packed sometimes. And David makes a point. It's been said this is down in Cincy, by the way. You know, Brother Dillard's recording wasn't packed.
Wow.
Wasn't even packed. A lot of space. Ohio does have a rep, man. Most places in Ohio. I'm not saying no places, but right. Ohio has a rep. I can imagine the cost. I've considered, you know, and by the way, there is a different scale if you have a personal relationship with these people. If I just call randomly and you just think, I'm not going to say names because I want to stay friends with them and then not like they know who I am, but I don't want this to get back. But if any random super top person you know that's been in the industry for 30 years, if I just call them, there's going to be a price to be very high. I bet you Joel Osteen ain't paying that. I bet you TD ain't paying that. But also their platform is different and their relationships are different. So I'm not bitter about it. Right. And back to what David said, when I started doing events, my first one was Israel Houghton in 2013, and I was working with somebody else's money. Right. Basically, this organization was willing to pay out the butt to bring Israel Houghton, and they did. Okay? And I had to go through a pastor friend who served at a mega church who already knew the person, and they were only going to take me seriously and answer my phone calls if they came through the connect they already had. They gave me the regular high price and I paid it. But here was the funny thing. Most of these people, when you send them a blind request, they used to always ask, who else have you worked with? And so I was putting on the list, Eddie Howard, the Neville Sisters. And not to take anything away from them at all, because Neville is a national record artist. They've been on biggest stages, no doubt. But they're not like just touring out there like Kirk and them.
Right.
But after a while, I could say, yeah, I mean, I literally had Mark Jackson, Eddie Howard, the Neville Sisters. That was the best I had at the time. Now I could say I worked with Diedrich Vachon, Marvin Sapp, Bishop William Murphy. We have Bishop William Murphy. We've had J.J. Hairston. I include T.J. Dooley in there because up to me. We had Jeffrey Golden. And then I include the work I've done with Terrell, with Too Deep, kind of being a background helper and, helping with the organization, because there's a lot on the back end people don't understand.
Right,
even setting up the flow of the organ, dealing with all these Negroes who all think they a star, even though they're not. They're the opening act, and they trying to put on like they're somebody. Where's my dressing room? Negro, in your car. You are up at 6 o'clock and the main act ain't coming up till 9. You better take this Play School microphone and be happy. But people don't know that's what it takes. That's what it takes. And here's the other thing, and I was telling a friend there, because a friend of mine recommended that I use a local theater for my next event, like go back. Well, I never actually went to a theater. I've always used a large church.
Right.
And then we started going to our church. And I had to tell them, you have to remember, gospel music is a different type of industry. It's a different type of industry because gospel music is the only type of music where you can see that person the very next day at somebody's church after you paid a $50 ticket. Gospel music is the only industry where you can do that. Because literally, the person that I had a special $30, $50, $60 VIP ticket and all that, he's somebody's worship leader.
Yep.
He's somebody's worship leader, or he's going to be at the Baptist Convention or the Full Gospel Convention or the Church of God in Christ musical, or just show up on stage and doing smaller churches like mine, and then go to the next city and do a $50 show 4 hours away in a giant theater. It's so weird how common and uncommon the gospel music industry is and the church industry is all together. And so 1 minute you could be on the Grammys, and the next minute you could be at Second Baptist Church, literally. So it's such an odd thing, like the same urgency. If I don't see Stevie Wonder at Quicken Loans Arena, I'm not going to see Stevie Wonder.
Right.
This cat is not about to be at the bar down the street doing a set with his friends. It's just not happening. So that's the thing, and there's a cost to it. And by the way, that leads to another conversation that
you go
ahead.
Oftentimes you don't even know it. I mean, I was at the Full Gospel Conference. I'm sitting there eating with JJ here. I didn't even know it was him.
He's right there.
We're just sitting there eating. People coming up taking pictures. I'm like, oh, this, because you don't know them outside of their music, or
and they're normal people. And he's talked about how we ain't as rich as you think we are. Most of us say they on Spirit Airlines with the rest of us.
We don't. We used to know people by our album cover, by their videos. We don't watch that stuff no more. You don't go out to get no.
Everybody watching Bobby Jones,
right? Everybody still know the Michael Jackson when he was laying down and had the white suit on.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for what you're looking for, Kirk, with the part. Kirk is like a little ball midget now, man. A little guy.
Built though.
Yeah, he'll jack you up. I mean, he'll take your knees out. But I mean, being a producer of that type of event, and a pastor friend of mine, he's really only a Facebook friend, but his name is Dante Thompson, and congratulations to Pastor Dante. He just got formally installed, succeeding his father who passed away last year. But he put a post up that I shared the other week, and it was, nobody understands the anxiety of a pastor who has put their heart and soul into an event and not knowing if the people will even show up, support. Of course, there's a financial thing. When I say financial, I'm not saying I want to get rich off of this. It's just I at least want to say this was worth it.
Right.
I have a theory that our first concert that you asked me about, how much did we make, that was typically our concert. It was a fundraising concert, which is where I want to kind of transition, is knowing the difference between what's going to make money and what's not.
Right.
We made a nice amount of money off that, but some of our people had a bad experience because of the artists. Right. Okay? And so not only that, but here's another thing. The gloss of a special event wears off once you're a year or two into it. So if it's an annual thing, then you can expect it's not going to have the same energy that it had the first time.
Absolutely.
Perfect example. If you get into a car accident with Stevie Wonder, he might invite you to his house. Listen, if I get into a car accident with Stevie Wonder, I'm going to own his house. I will be living
That's
in
a Bill Cosby episode.
I'm right. Exactly, it is. It's a Cosby Show episode. Stay strong, Bill. No, I'm But there is the law of diminishing returns, meaning the more you do something, the less you may get out of it, which is a part of why we turned over to a sponsored model. And we actually make money off of our souvenir books now. Like if we make a profit, if we happen to cover a profit, it's because we did that work to get some souvenir books ads from fellow churches, which by the way, most of them don't, support that kind of stuff. I've taken ideas to my fellow pastors, including our alliance in the past, like, hey, what if we all put in this much money? And this much money would be the seed money for a concert. And if you, let's say I got 10 churches to put in $500, say that. And for that $500, 50 of your members get free tickets, but it also gives us the seed to start the event, because you got to put something down. You got to put something down on the venue, something down on the artist. They need to know you're serious and all of that stuff. And thank you for that clarification, David. Thank you for that clarification, because those concerts were in two different places. We had Kenny Eldridge in Youngstown, massive concert, and I'm pretty sure the same people going to Kenny Eldridge's concert are not going to Ricky Dillard's concert and vice versa. But, we're just not known. But by the way, Kenny Eldridge, Pastor Kenny Eldridge, dynamic, historic figure in our area and nationwide, international music artist. If he did that concert every year, there would not be as many people as there were this year.
Right.
It's just the way it's going to go, because it was so special to come back after X amount of years, do that, bring everyone together. I don't see that happening 3 years from now and it has the same effect. It just doesn't. So I do think, there has to be a consciousness about that. I've watched people work far outside of their demographic. We do that a lot, especially with younger people. And it's not to bash younger people, but we think that who is famous to us is famous to everybody. And remember, the church is still, especially when it comes to supportive and paying customers, it's going to be your middle-aged to older people. And I'm not saying young people don't fill venues, because they do. They do. But there's still more in that other vein than there are who would pack an arena once every 2 years for a Maverick City concert. It's just a different thing. So that's where we also have to come in, is the pastor, the producer, the promoter has to think about how will this financially impact his ministry. And sometimes my idea is I just want to bring quality to my church and city through my church and city. I want to be the conduit that people, because somebody did that for me. Somebody took the time to bring James Cleveland and Shirley Caesar to Packer Music Hall once upon a time when I was little nothing. I remember New Jerusalem, I want to say, brought Orlando Draper, and I think Monument or Evans Temple or somebody brought the Clark sisters. Some of y'all might remember that, and brought Rance Allen to town and people like that. That takes something, but it also gave us young guys, preachers, young musicians and singers, like this incredible pride and excitement and motivation, because that's the top person that we know doing what we love to do, and we're so inspired to have them in our space. Sister Ellery Simpson, I've preached about her, took me to my very first concert, Fred Hammond, Yolanda Adams, Hezekiah Walker tour, when I was like Elias's age, and I was sold. Everything you see me do. She called me once and said, "You made me cry talking about that," because I talked about it in church. I said, everything you see me do in music came from that blessed trip to Cleveland. And my parents let me go. Tell
me about this, man, because oftentimes when you bring these people in, these musicians, it's a lot more when they bring their whole band.
Yes.
You have to get a band to cover them. How what's that experience like? And I know it's great for them, because
so first of all, it's a negotiation.
But it would be great for me to say, obviously I don't play no musicians, but to say I got to play for.
Well, first of all, that's a negotiation, because everybody won't do that. Some people have scales of what they'll do.
Okay.
Well, I'm coming full on, whole crew, 15 people are coming with me, band, singers, assistants, whatever. And I'm doing a full hour and a half show, and this is what it is. Travel, all that. You got to take care of all that, okay? Other people have like, okay, I can also come. Like I have the big package, but I also have like this, and I can just bring 3 singers and my musicians. And then some guys have like, okay, I can just come with 3 singers and 1 keyboardist, and you fill out the rest of the band, and he'll work with them, and he'll send them the music when he gets there. Some people will come by themselves, okay, and say, you provide the singers and the musicians, and I'll bring tracks, or what we call loops and tracks and stems is the technical word for it, which you play along with, and the band plays along with their basically studio stems, like what they did on the album. They play along with it. And some people literally just sing, I'm gonna come by myself and sing the tracks. Like, I'm gonna just come, you hit play, and I'm gonna just go. Because I'm more comfortable using my stuff, and the background singers are on the track, you know, all that. Oh, Bishop Wagner brought everybody. Bishop Wagner brought everybody, the PIP commission. I remember one time he called Fred like last minute, and Fred just like turned his bus and just came to Youngstown because whoever was supposed to come couldn't make it. And because of that relationship, which by the way, relationships matter.
They do matter.
Listen, when these cats give me, they never talk about call me. I know they ain't serious. I'm gonna call them. I'm like, what's up, Bishop Murray? Bishop Murphy, I'm Todd from Warren. Just want to know how you doing. Pray your family's blessed. You know, happy Thanksgiving. But yeah, so it's a negotiation, number one. But then it's finding the people who are good enough to handle that.
Yeah.
Because if you've looked online, there have been some times when the organist or the keyboardist especially was unable to hook up or follow through with what the musician wanted. And that's a bad day.
Oof, I believe
that's a bad day. I literally watched one of the greatest female singers come to this area and say, I came to your city and y'all don't even know my music.
Wow.
Looked at the organist, looked at the musicians and said, how dare you not know my music?
Oh, wow.
That's serious stuff. Also, on top of that, there are people who have brought people to town and did not treat them well or have things together. And so our area gets a bad reputation based off what somebody else did. Maybe the sound wasn't right, the money wasn't right, you know, the promoting wasn't right. I was a part of a fall apart show. Never forget it. I never let Joe Walker forget it. And it was not something we were putting on, but we were asked to open up for. And it was Dorothy Norwood and the Jackson and Southern Airs. And the promoter did not have their money. And that was the first time I heard so much cussing in the back.
not the Saints.
The Saints was back there cussing and fussing and going. Somebody said they was going to get their gun. I mean, he came out and apologized to the crowd, the 30 people that showed up. He didn't have it together. Everybody was blaming each other. And then finally, the sweet Miss Norwood, who was not sweet behind the curtain, said, start the music, because we were supposed to play for her. And after she got done telling that promoter off, she walked out there and sang, shake the devil off. Shake, shake, shake. Shake the devil off. And walked off the stage. And she only said, I'm doing this because y'all came out and spent y'all money. You know what I mean? I'm doing this because y'all spent out and doing money. I love this. Pastor Bowie, you probably can't read the whole thing, but I'll read it. People are just not as interested or invested in today's church events as we were because we had to go with our mom and grandma and it was our life. Yeah, today's upbringing looks for ways to debunk the scriptures for church. There's no readiness or excitement for these church events for some. You're correct. And by the way, church folk ain't excited.
Absolutely not.
Because we're watching all our favorite clips online, like you said. Mm-hmm. Scott had a great question. This is a great question I could answer. And I know I'm the one that has all this experience, but I know Jeff doesn't mind because I got all this stuff. Scott says, do you get contacted to be a stop on a tour or find a tour venue? How is that different? Great question. Yes, as a matter of fact. When I look up people's websites, David, we're not going to get into who didn't have whose money, but but I want to be real. I want to be real cool with this. If they're in the middle of a stop and can fit you in as a stop, they will add you in as a stop, but they're going to charge you. Now, honestly, I've looked at what I've seen what the charges are, and I wonder how are these cats doing these tours with like 8 cats on one bill?
Right.
When one dude would break me.
Right.
I'm like, these guys cannot all be accepting what they normally charge for even a piece of a show. And I hate to use the word show because I know it's a ministry, but I'm just using that word. They have these, I'll do 30 minutes, I'll do 45 hour long, full band tracks, whatever they have levels of what, and by the way, it costs them money to do all this. They have a production team, they have a secretary, they might have offices, they gotta pay bills. And they ain't out here 300 nights a week. So, but like John P. Key will put out on Facebook, I'm coming through your town, call me. I'm on tour. The bus is rolling. I'm on the East Coast. If you want me in your city, call me. Wow. He puts it on Instagram. I love that. I mean, I don't make him no cheaper, but I love the fact that he's saying, call me. He's on the West Coast, call me. I wish, and I've said this on this show before, I wish more people had ready available information on how run-of-the-mill but healthy and prepared churches can be a part of hosting people in their cities, because it really is like a black hole.
Absolutely.
For a lot of us. It really is a black hole for a lot of us.
Yeah, I also think that sometimes it's that we're just so used to. Sister Cynthia just talked about Gwen, and
yes,
we could bring Dana here, and we're so used to Dana.
We're abundance of blessings, and we're used to.
Yeah, we're so used to her coming and doing her thing, and it's just like, but what she does is phenomenal.
What Sean Jones does is phenomenal. This guy is renowned all over the nation. And if you bring him to this area or back to their hometown, well, we all know that story.
Yeah.
A couple hundred people maybe. Now, unless he's put on with like some orchestra or something, and Rosetta said it earlier, Elder Carter said it earlier, and then no disrespect to anybody, but then the crowd's full of white people.
Yep.
Crowd's full of white people. So, Sister Gwen Morgan brought him. There are people who bring artists and churches don't have the money. You're correct. Apparently you remember that, mister. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but there it is. Here's the last thing. Things that are just events, Pastor Jeff, and I want to bring you back into this. It could be Black History. It could be, like we had the March on Washington event. Mm-hmm. Now, I'll be honest, I felt bad about the turnout for ours. We counted total through our gates maybe about 250 based off the programs we passed out, about 250. Then I looked at the D.C. event. It was only a couple thousand on the mall. Wow. With Al Sharpton, Jamal Bryant, all the big shots, Martin Luther King III, all of them. I think it was like less than 10,000. A lot of people said that was like the peak at just one moment, and then it just went down. It was scarce. So I didn't feel so bad after I saw that, because apparently it was just not the biggest sort of commemoration. Like that fire has gone out a little bit, but that still matters to us. And I think that churches, and Black churches especially, we're still like the anchors of things like Black history and certain culturally relevant things. Juneteenth, Kwanzaa, for those that celebrate. And that is a whole type of production and promotion by itself, trying to get your people to care about themselves.
Well, do you see a difference in your commemoration was outside events and inside events, and the difference in people showing up and staying for a longer time?
Yeah, they both have their outside. I'm kind of sort of through with outside because it's such a hard. And by the way, we don't have a good venue for it in our area. You have to have a really good venue, and when you're outside, you are trapped to the weather. Mm-hmm. It's usually uncomfortable. It can either be too hot, too cold, too many bees, whatever. God, kill all the bees. Hey, Jesus, I just need you to kill all the bees. And the raccoons that keep coming in my yard while you're at it. You can kill those too. But anyway, yeah, all the outdoor events, honestly, we haven't had a really, truly successful, massive outdoor event since youth choir days. And even those, you only had some that really gave you the energy. It's so hard to build church Black energy outside. Yeah. Unless it's like a packed rap concert or something, or a packed concert and you really have packed it out like a free festival and Fred is the guest or whatever. It's so hard to build energy outside. Right. It's tough. Here's another preacher promoter thing. Man, empty seats are a killer. That's why you have to watch your venues. We have Packer Music Hall in Warren, seats 2,300 people. I could have 1,000 people in that building and it'll look empty. Yeah. It'll look empty. And so that sucks. Here's the crazy thing. it not only sucks to see, but it takes the energy, even out of worship, because everybody's just looking around. If it's a packed building, there's like a psychology of crowds.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That people don't understand. There's a psychology of crowds that people don't understand. And you don't need just call Phillips Care for birds, bees, and raccoons, which I am about to. And so first of all, as a promoter, I know what it's like to bomb an event, and there's nothing more depressing. It will stick with you, man. I'll tell anybody, churches, people, if your pastor puts on anything, show up. I don't care if they invited Reverend Roscoe from across town.
Right.
Show up. Because we do take it personally, because our heart and soul and planning and whatever critiques, however much better you would have liked it to be. I don't like that preacher. That's not my style of music. Whatever it might be, I know it because I've sometimes I feel like I'm tortured. I mean, I literally admitted to my friend Tedrick one time. I said, I feel like I'm torturing myself because I kind of know the outcome, but I keep trying to see, and this was years ago, to see if I clean up or change a few things the way I do things, if it'll make a difference. And man, and by the way, there's a lot of mega pastors, there's a lot of big shots, they are losing their shirt too.
Oh yeah.
They can just afford to. They can afford to. Some people can't afford to, and you think they can. They're big, but they ain't, I can lose $20,000 tonight big. They gonna get up on Sunday and go offline and be like, look, y'all, Friday night didn't go too great. I've seen it. I'm dead serious. Like, I've seen it. Like, they go back to their churches like, yo, we need to make this up. This was bad. They put it all out there, citywide, this Easter service at the stadium, people trying to take their Christmas cantatas to the theaters and stuff. And after they get done paying all that stuff, woo.
So
go ahead, Big Mike.
It seems like concerts aren't the way to go now.
Not as a moneymaker.
Right. I mean, and even to get people to come. So what's the next thing? What's the next step? What's the next?
I don't know if there is one.
I don't want to use the word next big thing, but what's next? I mean, it has to be technology related. Something I don't know, but yeah, what's next?
What's next is, I think that we are just in the day of views more than pews. Ooh. It is a view economy. Ooh.
Views more than pews.
Views more than pews.
So that now we just stream everything, put it online, get some sponsors, monetize, and go from there.
Now, most video platforms now have like a gated option, meaning you can set it up so that they have to pay to get a link or a key or whatever that can't be shared. Vimeo does it. Switcher Studio does it now. They all have like basically gated content, almost like OnlyFans. But it's basically like there's another one. What do they call it? Patreon.
Okay.
Patreon is another one. A lot of bloggers and podcast people like to see my exclusive content.
You have to pay a monthly fee.
Right.
Well, I'm trying to watch TikTok, and everything on TikTok now is we battling. I'm like, what are you battling? What are you doing?
Who's battling?
All these people, they're battling, and I guess the more views.
Like split screen battling, but they're just like going back and forth. I feel it.
But the more people are giving them cherries and hearts and all these things, and I guess they're monetizing and making money off of it. And I'm like, what happened to just doing some regular content?
It's how trends work, man. Trends are so weird. Trends are so weird these days, and the church is not prepared for that. And I'm not sure if the church should be, because we're not supposed to work off of trends. Scott, have you done speaker with guest performer events? I'm actually trying to do that right now. I'm literally trying to shift the Night of Hope, which has been a music concert, into a prominent speaker / prominent worship leader kind of situation. So I'm right there. I think we need more mixed events that appeal to more people, because there are a lot of people that want to hear a speaker and they're not down for the music really. And there's a lot of people that are down for the music, but they don't want to hear a speaker. So I think you have to do mixed events. But here's the crazy thing again, because church, gospel, Christian is so unique, that streaming thing you said, we feed off the energy of the crowd we see and experience. So you still need a crowd in the streaming experience because nobody just wants to see Kirk Franklin rock out on a sound stage. They want to see Kirk engage the audience. We literally, here's what church folk get off on. Other church folk getting the Holy Ghost.
Right.
Other church folk getting excited. That's what gets us excited. Even when we're watching.
Right.
Take all the crowd noise out of some of your favorite clips. Take that clip of T.D. Jake's daughter taking her wig off with nobody screaming and saying amen and falling on the floor, and let that just be a crazy woman talking and snatching her wig off into silence, and see if anybody thinks that is impressive. It's not. It's the energy it created. It was the hype.
Even on like I said, once again, on TikTok, you make a post, you got to add music to it.
Right.
You got to add that. Because that music gives it that atmosphere, and here it is, Scott.
You gotta do kids are cute.
Scott, here's one of the problems is a lot of times we bring singers in who want to preach.
Oh my goodness!
Stop it!
Sing one or two songs and want to prophesy to the city, and then they say stuff that's impossible and discouraging. They be like, "There's gonna be no more murders after tonight." I declare and decree the spirit of murder, and I'm like, "Be quiet," because I just watched Pookie run out of here angry.
I mean, they will get up and say,
now.
I'm going to sing in a minute. Well, sing. Well, sing.
Man, start the track and sing. You are so right, man. Now, here's the funny thing. We want preachers who can sing to sing more than they preach.
Right.
But we want singers to not preach at all.
Not at all.
We want you to just do your thing. And it's scary because some people... and some people do get off on that too. They really want like a word to be spoken and someone to just, when we did have Jeffrey Golden, when he started, he literally did like the first 15 minutes, like building an atmosphere. I'm like, bro, sing your song, man. Start the track. And I was watching a few people, they were like literally under the pew the first 5 minutes. And I'm like, okay, that's great. But, I bet you your pastor preached over the pews this week and you didn't say daggone nothing to him. Right. And all this guy got up and said was God's going to move tonight. Don't you feel a miracle in this spirit? Don't you feel something? Yeah. All this. Are you serious? But that's the crazy thing about church music. Again, so we're saying it's online, but it's the energy you see. Very little church videos go live and go viral without a crowd participation and encouragement element to it. And that's why I've always joked about the mimes, because it's ready-made hype. They mostly mime usually to live worship experiences where the people were going in. So we're not even going in off the song anymore. We're going in off the people who are going in off the song, who are responding to the song. And that's what people are doing when they watch videos and when we do it all online. They're watching, and their interest often has to go with how much energy is coming from the people experiencing it live. Right. And so most of us, we look for the praise break. Thank you, Minister Ben. We look for the praise break. What Pastor Tatum said earlier about the revival coming up. Red Pants guy. By the way, that was a praise break, Scott. Remember Scott was asking us what a praise break was?
That was a praise break.
That was the most inappropriate praise break in the history of praise breaks. But Pastor Tatum said, and many pastors have this, should I do this event online? Will it discourage people from coming live?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the answer is yes. Some people know that if the church doesn't go live, somebody's going to go live. And I've only been in a handful of concerts. I remember one time I was in Columbus, and Bishop Herron had brought John P. Key to town for his convocation. I happened to be at the state convention, and I wanted to watch, and nobody had it on. And I texted my man, Mark Herron. I said, what happened? He said, they came out and said no phones tonight.
Oh, wow. And
I've been in very few places where they actually still do that. Because now they just accept that you really can't stop folk.
Well, I watched Kevin Hart the other day. When somebody was going to his concert, they had a thing, they put the phones in.
Bag.
The zip bag.
But again,
I remember one time.
They still sneak them in, though.
They still sneak them in.
I believe it. Yeah. I remember one time you had a concert. I don't know who was at the concert, but you said you were going to stream it, but charge to stream it.
We were going to have Leandria Johnson and do that.
Okay, so that one never went off.
It didn't work out.
Okay.
And that actually ended up getting canceled.
Right.
I mean, we weren't able to make it work.
I would wonder how that would work. I wonder how many people would actually pay to watch the streaming of the concert.
I'd like to hear from our audience before we go. Would you pay to watch a gospel concert online? I'd just like to hear some yeses and nos, just yes and no. Would you pay? Let's just say we had Fred Hammond live at Second Baptist, and if you couldn't get a ticket to come, you could watch online from home for $10. Would you pay?
I understand that the tickets to go
Or $50.
were $50, but you can watch it online.
You watch online for $10. $5. Or let's be clear, there's so much content of Fred's online. There's so much. That's what I'm saying. There's so much content.
Right.
It's
no.
I want to hear back from y'all. Would you pay to watch a gospel? Hey, Mike, this is your answers coming through. Now, pandemic was different,
Right.
and that's a total. I wouldn't pay to watch any concert. Okay, all right, Didi. I wouldn't pay to watch any concert. I haven't either. I won't. Now, I paid. Kojic tried. Kojic tried wrong. They should have known. Okay, Cynthia Hill, we got 2 yeses. Pastor Harrison
yeses.
would, Sister Hill would. This is a good poll. We have to put this on our page afterwards. Would you pay to watch an online gospel concert? That's good. That.
It depends on who it was for me.
I've seen too many people. I mean, I'm unfair because I've seen everybody 5 times.
Yeah.
And there's nobody, I'm over music at this point. I just like the experience. But Ben Wood, that's so interesting, man. And then you never know who you might get because so often, again, preacher, promoter, producer, we're going off the people we know.
Right.
We got a dedicated crowd on here. I got a dedicated church crowd. There might be people so far outside of Second Baptist and religiously incorrect and even just warned because now that you're online, you're not limited to a location. Right. You put this out there. You don't know who in California, Alaska, overseas, by the way. Overseas. Mm-hmm. We can do like some of your friends, Jeff, and buy some Indian followers for our church lives. And all of a sudden we have 1,000 likes out of nowhere.
I'm going to rap online.
Abib and everybody else is all the people that work at Popeyes now are following us online. I want to be in the room where it happens. Yeah.
Do I get my $10 back if the stream is interrupted?
If the stream is interrupted, that's why I do my free streams because we had an interruption last year and we had to go back on and we had a thing. But where do we go from here? I think you have to just be wiser and not take for granted that people will just come to any old thing and any old person done any old way.
And I think you're doing a great thing by, even with your next concert, you're asking, who would you all like to see?
I've been asking around.
You ask around.
It's a dangerous question to ask, though.
But I mean.
People going off of one song they like.
Right.
Right.
And to be honest, when I brought Marvin Sapp, dude has a whole repertoire, catalog. And I literally had to promote him as never would have made it guy.
Right.
Because nobody even knew. Like, people don't know music like that. And this cat got a whole catalog. And I'm like, that's how I promote every year. I'd be like, all right, Searched All Over guy is going to be here. I Have No Reason to Fear guy. You Deserve It guy is going to be here. That's how we have to promote this stuff. It's crazy. So I think you have to be intentional. Personally, I've done it a lot. I'm not on here to complain. But I know that we brought quality people. I'm talking people that you don't see unless you're on Stellars. And I try to bring people who have not been here a lot. So me and my friends have already talked like, all right, the last couple of years we had John B. Key several times. We're not calling John, not because he's not great, but because we've all seen him several times.
Right.
Okay? JJ never been to Warren. Bishop William Murphy had never been to Warren. Marvin Sapp had never been to Warren unless he came a commission to Youngstown or something, back in the day. I tried to bring people who were never going to be here. Jeffrey Golden had been here. Teacher Dooley hadn't been up here except for some things to his church. So that's what I try to think of. I'm trying to think of preachers now.
I don't see why you don't just get to singing shepherds.
Brother, they would pack it out. Harrison, make it happen.
Make it happen. Pastor Harrison, Derek Anderson,
Pastor Herb,
Ellis.
Pastor Simon, Ellis.
Yes, sir.
Y'all be up there singing hard and sweating and stuff and ain't getting paid nothing. You ain't getting paid nothing. And
Casey Ellis,
he's the Kirk of the group. Truth be told, he's the Jeff Stanford of the group.
Jeff Stanford gonna be singing.
Jeff Stanford's gonna sing anyway. They don't even give a mic. When they added Jeff to the group, they turned his mic off. When they added Jeff to the group, they just muted his mic and gave him a mic with no cord. Hey, you said a word, Sister Sherry. I'm working on it. We're trying to see what we can do. But I want to bring at this point, and so you said where to next? To be honest, Pastor, I called you Pastor Mike Jr. Big Mike. I'm turning the corner to more of.
I don't know, Pastor Boy. I watch.
I've been there and done that.
Yeah, I watch what's his name do it every year. The coach, So
listen, the whole aid thing, adding aid. Because remember, Night of Hope is for foster kids, and nobody care about that. They were like, forget them kids. I've been doing foster care for 8 years.
It's the longest part of the concert.
The longest part of the concert. All these, they be all sad and they bring the kids out. Do you want me? Please take me home.
Anybody want to sign up? We'll be downstairs.
We'll be downstairs.
Hey, people be going trying to go out the other door.
People going out the side door. They be speaking in tongues. They be like, no.
You better stop before you mess up your sponsor.
Bring them in with suitcases and everything, man.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I thought, listen, I've done several events with causes attached. Remember the time we did the Gospel Skate and we asked people to bring food for Thanksgiving?
Hey, they was bringing
rusty cans.
Hey, it was no pay. You just had to bring a canned good. And they was reaching in the back of the cupboard.
Back of the back. They was in the shed. They was bringing stuff Grandma canned in 1952.
And pinto beans from 30
lentils. They was bringing food nobody eats at all, anywhere. Hummus. I mean, just weird stuff. And we had a truck full of it. What are we doing with this? We were so mad.
They was bringing frosted mini wheats, cereals, and
Crispy Oats,
Captain Applejacks. I was like, what is going on?
Tasty Oats. What are we doing? We had the entire Aldi store from 1989 in the back of that truck. Right, canned blueberries.
Man, that was too funny.
Coke Zero, clear Pepsi.
Oh my God.
It was just the weirdest stuff. Flavors nobody like hot Cheeto Mountain Dew. I'm like, what is going on here? I literally got an entire box. Somebody said to me, I got to leave off this funny story. Somebody said to me, Pastor, the food people are giving us a whole box of pop to give out. It was, I kid you not, it was hot Cheetos Mountain Dew.
Oh, wow.
Like an entire bin of it, like 500 bottles. And we were just throwing them in bags and nobody wanted them. I mean, it was just terrible. So, till there's fried chicken and fish downstairs at the foster table. Flavor Aid. Yeah, it was a bad night. But I'm going to keep pressing because I'm a little selfish. I like a good event.
Right.
I like a good event. And they have been beneficial to our church. And so when we announce our next Night of Hope, which will most likely be free, come out and support.
Absolutely.
Come out and support,
Grab one of them kids. You need another kid.
You need a kid. You need a kid. Plus, you get like tax breaks and stuff.
Tax breaks, earned income credit.
$30 a day or whatever. Well, y'all got the right person for Second Baptist Patch. My order is pretty big. Just tell them not to bring no hot Cheetos Mountain Dew this time. Tell them not to do that. But no, hey, we thank y'all for watching. It's a little late. We thank y'all for kicking it with us. Like, my sermon was long. Our podcast was long. This was just a long week today. But we hope y'all enjoyed. Thank you for the poll. That was a good poll, Mike.
Yeah, it was a good poll. Yeah.
Pay for an online gospel concert.
Now we know. Don't do it.
Now we know. Don't waste your time. We don't waste your time. Hey, make sure you follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all other platforms where you listen. This will be uploaded online on your audio podcast. We have a great time bringing you Religiously Incorrect, and we hope you have a great time watching. Until next time, we'll be doing a post-anniversary show for Religiously Incorrect. Okay. My 8th anniversary at Second Baptist. All y'all are welcome to come. 8 years. You're all yins. The tent revival, man, we need to bring Michael Harrison on to talk about tent revivals. And
Harrison going to be at the...
He's going to be our speaker.
He's going to be the speaker.
President Harrison is going to be our speaker next Sunday.
Have him on the show.
Bring your good squall with you.
Now, that's at 11
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Okay.
10 o'clock.
I can come for a little while.
You come for a little while. If you can sneak out of church, come and do it. Come hang out. Hey, just skip your church. I don't care about your pastor, man. I don't care. You can fight me later.
Hey, real quick before we go, I want to thank our sponsors one more time. Look at those brand new mic stands y'all bought for us.
Hey, y'all, look at this.
Hey, we moving on up. We moving on up.
If you want to sponsor these mic stands, we'll put your name on the mic stand. This mic stand sponsored by...
We just gonna write everybody's sponsor on the table.
Yeah, we put it on the table, get like stickers, put it out here. That'd be sweet. Just put stickers out here, little.
Mike spent 3 hours making his tables.
Bob Vila.
I did too. About 3 hours.
Trying to make it happen. Hey, we love y'all. We gonna talk later. Until next time, see you in Sunday night service. Smell like chicken and perfume.
Peace, y'all.